Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a story that is seriously shaking up the entire spirits world. It all kicks off with a single bottle of Indian whiskey winning this pretty shocking award, but believe me, it ends with a revolution that's changing what all of us drink.
So, it all started with this headline that just sent shockwaves through the industry. An Indian brand, Indri, somehow managed to beat out all the usual suspects from Scotland and America for a top global award. Now, this should have been a huge win, right? Well, maybe. Because, not everyone was convinced.
Yeah, almost immediately, the online whiskey community started pushing back. You hop on forums like Reddit, and you see users just full of skepticism, basically saying, hey, these awards are often just marketing ploys, not real measures of quality.
And this sets up a really interesting conflict. On one side, you got this official industry stamp of approval. But on the other, you have total doubt from the actual people who drink the stuff. So, what is the real story here?
Okay, so is this award just a fluke, a one-off, or is it the tip of a much, much bigger iceberg? Well, to answer that, we actually have to zoom out and look at a truly staggering fact about India's relationship with spirits.
And trust me, superpower is not an exaggeration. The sheer scale of India's market completely reframes everything we think we know about the world of whiskey. Get ready for this. India drinks nearly half of all the whiskey sold on the entire planet. That's not per person, that's total volume. It is by a massive, colossal margin, the biggest whiskey market in the world. And just take a look at this list of the world's best-selling whiskeys. You'd probably expect to see names you know from Scotland or the US at the top, right? Wrong. 4 of the top 5 are Indian brands, made for their own domestic market. I mean, look at this. McDowell's #1 alone outsells the iconic Johnnie Walker by over 9 million cases every single year.
So here's the big takeaway. For decades, India has been the absolute king of volume, just focusing on affordable, mass-market spirits. But that award-winning single malt? That signals something totally new, a craft revolution, one that's focused on premium quality and innovation, and it's looking at the global stage.
So let's actually look at this homegrown craft movement, because it's happening right now. Inside India, there's a whole new generation of distillers who are completely rethinking what an Indian spirit can be. And they're starting in some pretty surprising places.
Okay, take Sector Gin. It's a perfect example of this new way of thinking. Instead of leaning into those old, exotic stereotypes, they're all about balance. They use fresh citrus pulp to get a smoother taste and create these amazing flavors like raw mango and chili that are, both nostalgic for Indians, but also totally intriguing to a global audience. They're making a world-class gin that just so happens to be from India.
And this same innovative spirit, it's now being applied to categories that, honestly, didn't even really exist in India until just a few years ago.
Meet Indian agave spirit. This entire category was pretty much created by one guy, Desmond Nazareth. He was an entrepreneur who came back to India from the US and was just really frustrated that he couldn't find a decent margarita. So what did he do? He decided to make his own spirit from all the agave plants he saw just growing wild out on the Deccan Plateau.
And his brand, Desmond J., proved it could be done. He grew it from just a few hundred cases to over 20,000 a year. His success really paved the way for other premium brands. And, more importantly, it helped change the whole image of agave in India from just a simple party shot into a sophisticated sipping spirit.
Now, at the exact same time all this homegrown innovation is happening, there's a really fascinating parallel story unfolding, but this one is outside of India, and it's being driven by the global Indian diaspora.
We can call these diaspora brands. And just to be super clear, these aren't spirits being imported from India. These are brands inspired by Indian flavors, but they're being made locally in places like Ireland or Canada or the US, specifically for a global palate.
And the creativity here is just incredible. You've got Maharani Gin, which is made in Ireland with spices all the way from Kerala. You have Rupi beer, brewed in the US specifically to go well with spicy food. There's even Malayali beer, an accidental brand that was born in Poland from a stranded shipment of rice flakes that's now sold all across Europe. Amazing.
So the big question is, how do these new brands compete when they don't have the massive advertising budgets of the big players? Well, they've developed this really smart grassroots playbook that's proving to be incredibly effective.
And their playbook is genius because it's so simple. They go to restaurants first. Think about it. By putting their products right there on the dining table where people are already exploring Indian flavors, they get instant marketing, free trials, and direct feedback. Once a brand proves it can sell in restaurants, it has a powerful success story to take to the big retail stores.
Okay,
So let's bring this all back together. When you look at all these different things happening at once, that initial award for an Indian whiskey starts to look less like some random fluke and a lot more like a sign of the times. You see, what we're really watching isn't just one story. It's a three-part revolution happening all at once. You've got the mind-boggling scale of the domestic market as a foundation. Then you have this explosion of homegrown craft distilleries, and on top of that, you have the creative energy of the global diaspora.
Honestly, any one of these trends by itself would be a pretty big deal. But all of them together, they're creating a perfect storm. It's transforming India from a market that was only known for its massive size into this dynamic force that's innovating and influencing tastes all across the globe.
And this leaves us with one last thought. What we're seeing here is about so much more than just whiskey or gin. It's a fundamental shift in global creativity and taste. The question isn't if Indian spirits will make an impact on the world stage anymore. The real question is, which long-established category is next?